Hey, do you want to learn how to do this? And check this video, all the secrets are revealed. You will find many guides which show you the strongest late game comps, and even if on my channel you can find many examples or transitions, you still need to know the fundamentals about managing your econ and your levels. TFT is similar to building an army to fight a war. And many people forget that war is more about preparation than fighting. What's the point on having the biggest army in the world if you don't have the funds to maintain them over time? Hello fellow tacticians! In case you don't know me, I'm a challenger player in EU West and I regularly make guides about TFT. I already helped many players to reach master and have more fun in TFT. In this video I'm going to describe to you the most common patterns for leveling and econ that every single challenger players know. And I'm going to give you also many examples and tips along the way. Whether you started TFT or you feel you need to refresh your knowledge about TFT fundamentals, this video will be useful to you, so stick to the end. Before I get to show you all the details with the two most used strategies in TFT, I found it relevant to give you some general tips that you will need to follow in order to optimize your econ like a challenger player. Keep in mind that you will try to always optimize the gold generation each round, meaning that if by selling units on your bench you can reach a bigger interest goal, then do it, unless it's a unit you will need to play really soon or if it's a pair of units. Try to get high cost units on the carousel, as long as they hold a component that interests you. Try not to get lower than 30 gold after pushing a level starting stage 3. If you have a streak one round before a PvE round, do all you can do in order to keep it so you can reap the streak gold 2 times. One after the PvP fight and one after the PvE fight, which is given to you for free. Even if it means you have to push scrap units at stage 2-6 and have a nasty loss to keep your low streak. And finally, try to get 50 gold as fast as you can to get the most interest and never go below that unless you need to push or roll because you're using one of the econ leveling pattern I'm going to describe. This pattern is the most commonly used among all the players. And there's a good reason for that. This is the most efficient pattern in order to optimize your gold in order to stay strong and healthy while rushing your level to level 7, 8 and even 9. The key is to try to find the 4 costs and the 5 costs which are really expensive, and you can't afford spending too much time with the low level with no chance to find them. So let's analyze this pattern from early game to late game with all the key moments that you need to remember. The stage 1 is extremely important. Many challengers will agree with me if I say that you will have to drag all the mistakes made here through the whole game. In terms of econ and leveling, there are 2 big decisions to make. During the rounds, if the game gives you a lot of gold and less components, it's often better to try to make 10 gold by selling units and have 1 gold of interest much sooner than usual. The only exception is when the units given to you are just too strong and you need to keep it to win every round of the stage 2. At stage 1-3, you can decide to pre-level to level up 4 automatically at stage 2-1. Usually you want to do that when you are looking for specific 3 costs. Let's say you have Eloy and Queen and you hope to get Misfortune or Gangplank at level 4 for Mercenary 3. Or you can do that if your board is strong because you have a lot of 2-star units and you want to add 1 impactful unit and synergy to snowball your stage 2. The idea is to invest more gold than the others to get it back later thanks to the win streak you're going to make. The biggest mistake you can make here is to pre-level your level 4 when your board is too weak. Not only will you have a harder time to reach your interest thresholds during the stage 2, but you will be neither strong or weak, so it will be impossible to set up a win streak or a lose streak during the stage 2. I'm going to give you an example to show you clearly this mistake a bit later. If you don't know exactly what a strongboard is and what kind of items or units you want to buy, then I would advise you to watch the guide about the early game I'm going to release really soon, so you can subscribe to this channel and you'll be ready to know when it's released. Speaking of stage 2, it doesn't matter whether you decide to pre-level your level 4 or not. What matters the most is to manage to get a streak. Ideally, you want a full win streak or a full loss streak without losing too much health. If you aim for the win streak, ideally you want to be level 4 at stage 2-1 because you identified that you have a strong starter and you want to pre-level your level 5 at stage 2-3. That way, you will be level 5 naturally after the first carousel and compete for a full win streak stage. The goal you want to achieve is to be level 5 with 20 gold at least when you enter the PvE stage. If you aim for the lost streak because you identify that your board is weak and you prefer to sacrifice your early HP that you would have lost anyway in order to get more gold than the other players and set up a comeback, then you don't want to press the XP button at all for the whole stage 2. Just make sure to scout regularly and position yourself to lose all the fights while killing 1 or 2 units per fight to save a lot of HP. Your goal is to reach the PvE round at level 4 with something between 40 and 50 gold. Here's an example of a game where I purposely pre-leveled for my level 4 and my level 5 even though I knew my team was weak. I got only 1-star units, the component didn't allow me to slam an impactful item straight in for this team, and I got no direction as well because I got many different pairs of units of different synergies. The result is that I didn't manage to get a good streak. I lost a good amount of health and my econ is poor, so my game looks already very dire. Remember, playing aggressively costs a lot of econ, but in exchange you get much more econ if you keep winning. However, if you lose, you get nothing but a sad pengu disappointed by its own master's decision. For stage 3, I'm going to cover 3 different common scenarios that you can follow depending on your situation. You had a full win streak during the stage 2 and you want to keep that win streak for as much as you can. You can decide to level up 6 at stage 3-1. You will have an advantage over the other players because most players decide to stay level 5 at this specific round. Do it only if you want to defend your win streak, and if by leveling up 6 you can add an impactful unit or synergy. It also means that at least your main tank and carry are 2 stars with relevant items on them. The second scenario is the opposite. You had a full loss streak during the stage 2 and you're probably the wealthiest player of the lobby, but at the same time you probably lost a good amount of health already. You have 2 choices. Either you decide to level up 6 at stage 3-2 and roll as much as needed to stabilize your board, meaning you spend a lot of gold to find good units and make them many 2-star units so you will win the next fights. The other choice you have is that you can decide to keep losing until stage 3-4 and after the carousel you can level up 7 really fast and roll down all your gold in order to find 4 cost units and also 3 cost units as your main carry or tanks and play around them. The second strategy is quite risky and usually it's something you prepare starting the stage 2-1. If you're a new player, I would advise you to avoid this strategy, but if you're already experienced player, then know that strategy exists and can save you from very difficult games. The third scenario, you don't have a huge streak to keep and you're neither at the top of the lobby or at the bottom of it. Then you probably just need to push your level 6 at stage 3-2 to keep the pace with most people and maybe roll a bit to stabilize your board. If you roll, then follow the following rules to make sure you don't throw your economy and your game. Try to never reach below 30 gold. If you go below 30 gold, it will take too much time to ramp up your econ above 50 gold to rush the level 7, then the level 8. If you do want to roll, make sure you know what you want. Do you have a lot of pairs on your bench? Then roll to rape 1 or 2 units. Do you miss a low cost unit to complete a strong synergy? Then roll a bit to try your luck, but never roll too much. And it's fine, sometimes you will not find anything after rolling a few times. It happens, it sucks, but you have to stop rolling otherwise it's throwing your game. Until now, I've described many different strategies that you can apply depending on your board. And obviously we need to keep that in mind for the late game as well. But right now, starting the stage 4, there is one big factor that you have to take into account: your health. Starting the stage 4, the losses can be really nasty. And if you already lost a lot of health in early game to get a better econ, it is the moment to use that wealth. It would be a shame to work hard your whole life to only die 2 days before retirement, right? By the way, I hope you will stay healthy long time. So basically, if you're level 6, you want to push level 7 at stage 4-1 and roll enough times to upgrade most units as 2 stars. Especially the 3 cost ones, which are usually quite impactful at this stage. You can also hope to get a few 4 cost units, but don't expect to 2-star them, because the odds are against you. The amount of time you need to roll will highly depend on your health and how well you hit, or not. If you are at the top of the lobby, you can roll a bit, but usually you would prefer to skip the level 7 and rush the level 8 in order to have better odds to make your final comp. You will suffer losses during this stage, but since you have a lot of health, you can tank. Just make sure you don't roll below 30 gold. In that case, otherwise you're throwing your biggest asset by putting yourself at the same econ as the other players. However, if you are low on HP, you probably have to forget the level 8 and go all in at level 7, because this is a do or die situation for you. The most common error is to be at the middle or lower part of the lobby and still try to skip level 7. What will happen is that you will lose a lot of health, and that will force you to be at level 8 at stage 4-5 instead of stage 5-1, like most players do. And you will have, by consequence, only 30 gold left to buy many 5 cost and 4 cost units, which is mathematically impossible. So don't forget that, unless you have at the very least 70 HP, you will have to roll at level 7 in order to stabilize your board. It will take time and practice, and you probably make many errors and mistakes, and it's completely normal. As a challenger player myself, I still make these mistakes regularly because it's difficult to visualize the strength of one's board compared to others, especially at the beginning of a new set. The most important part here is to level up 8 at stage 5-1 or stage 5-2 if you spent a good amount of gold while stabilizing your level 7. The idea is to level up and have at least 30 gold to roll if you already have your main units for your final comps, or at least 50 gold if you have to make a full transition from one comp to another completely different comp. You can pretty much expect everyone to go all in during this stage, and there's only one situation where you can afford not to use all your gold. That is, if you got extremely lucky with your rolls while still being healthy. For instance, you managed to get your main tanks and carries 2 stars without rolling much. Then what you can do is to try to save your gold and try to push level 9 with at least 30 to 40 gold to have high quality shops and add a lot of impactful units to grab the top 1. Let's be honest, for 80% of your games you will just have to roll down to 0 gold at level 8 every round until you find your precious units. Alright, now that you know the most common pattern in order to play fast 8 comps in order to buy 4 cost and 5 cost units, let's talk about a different pattern that is really used as well, which is used for the reroll comps to find 3-star 1 cost and 3-star 2 cost units. The idea behind this concept is to stay low level and use that extra gold in order to roll more and upgrade your low cost units into 3 stars. In order to improve your chance to get 1 cost and 2 cost units, you want to stay low level as your shop will mainly give you low cost units. That is why you will never buy XP during the stage 2. Instead, you will try to focus on building your econ and try to reach 50 gold by the end of stage 2. It's usually easier to play for the loss streak during stage 2 since you will be behind in levels compared to your opponents. The moment you have more than 50 gold is when you can start to roll every round until you reach 50 gold again. While players will mainly focus by buying XP and having less econ, you will try to build your low-cost army thanks to the advantage of interest you have built. Usually you will be slow rolling like this for the whole stage 3 if you are looking to make a 3-star 1 cost. However, if you are looking to make a 3-star 2 cost unit, you will need to level up 6 first, so you will need to buy a bit of XP during the stage 3 before slow rolling, because the level 6 shop is the best one to find the 2 cost units. Keep in mind that this strategy often implies that you have to play with low health since you are playing slow compared to the other. If after stage 3 you realize that you lost too much health, you probably have to use all your remaining gold to find your 3-star units before stage 4 starts, otherwise you might end up 8th. This pattern is much simpler to follow, but at the same time it is more risky since you can lose the game really fast if you don't pay attention to your health and if you're unlucky with your rolls. Some augments will change the rules of the game, like dominance that grants you gold if you manage to win hard and incentivizes you to roll and push aggressively, or you have also calculated loss which grants you more gold if you lose, so you would rather want to play slow and learn a lot of gold before using all of them at once in order to reach a huge power spike. There is no specific pattern for these augments, or at the very least they have not been discovered yet, and since it's really rare to have the same augments between 2 different games, it's probably not worth trying to learn a specific pattern for each augment. Rather, it's important to understand the strategy that makes the most out of your augment. Fast 8 strategy with an aggressive playstyle, with the dominance augment for instance, or a normal playstyle with a genuine augment. You can also go with a reroll count with open forting with metabolic accelerator, which grants you more health, so it's okay if you lose your rounds because you get back some health, or you can also play with aggressive augments such as hyper roll, which will require you to roll every turn. If you're still watching this, it means that you're going to climb efficiently in TFT, and you'll be also able to optimize your econ in order to reach the shop level that you want to achieve with a lot of health and a lot of gold. And that means that in the end, you will just increase the odds of finding the units that you want. Honestly, this video took me more time than I thought. I really wanted to spend time on details so you guys will know everything you need to know in order to get better at TFT. I would greatly appreciate if you can like this video. This will help me to activate the YouTube algorithm and try to reach many more players like you who like to enjoy in TFT. With that being said, if you understand the most used patterns for leveling and econ, and also you master the early game thanks to a video that you release soon, then you will have all the tools to climb to master in TFT. Keep in mind that the rules are meant to be broken. Don't hesitate to try your own patterns with specific augments and build your own playstyle. Have fun, fellow tacticians, and let's meet each other at the top of the ladder. Or you can also join my Discord, link in the description, and meet 2000 other tacticians ready to share tips and help each other.